Not a good face.
Good morning, Giants. Hey, have you ever wondered what abundance is? We got the woo-woo right here. You're going to want to see this.
Just to be clear, don't confuse the woo woo with the woo woo.
Woo, woo, woo.
What up, Giants?
Good morning.
Ryan, I'll let you take the lead, man.
Oh my gosh. Well, we've got great news. If you haven't subscribed, now's your opportunity to subscribe and like us on Facebook and YouTube. So
wherever that button is, over here somewhere, click it.
How come nobody can ever do that? That's what I want to know. That we should answer that question.
Why does it have to be opposite of everything? I'm pointing to my left and it's going to my right on the screen.
But you're doing it so abundantly. And then and you know what's awesome?
Catch your breath, dude. We're gonna get this.
Yes.
Yeah, let's hear it.
You know what's awesome? Is we have a Kickstarter that's coming up March 17th. We're going to be working through a Kickstarter to fund some of the more of the advertising. We're looking for an agent for the book. So Giants and the Smalls, boom, you can go to giantsandsmalls.com, pick up the book. But we're going to be launching that Kickstarter. There's going to be all kinds of different levels and pretty fun stuff that's coming up. So we want to get into schools and teach that. We got into one school and now we have the bug for schools because seeing those kids with the just light up and make a change in their lives was worth it. It was so amazing. So we want to do more of that, do more good. So March 17th.
Here's what we know, and that's what we're going to talk about today, is that what we have currently didn't happen by magic or spontaneously appear. It took effort to get here. And so we're going to talk about abundance. And
Sweet.
So everything that we create is drawn around abundance. I hear this word. Tell me what you hear when somebody says, oh, you need to pray or meditate or think of an abundant life.
You know what I think about? Like,
yeah, let's see.
For some reason, I think about it. What is it called? Like what is the thing that the pilgrims used to fill up with?
The like cornucopia.
Cornucopia. That's a good word. That's what I think of. Like that image, like pops in my mind.
Yeah. I wish we had a pop-up where we could do like little images. Cornucopia. That is a fun word.
We'll just keep saying that over and over again.
Cornucopia.
Yeah.
Copious. Cornucopia.
Nobody says cornucopia ever. But now we do.
Back in the day, though, this is how they would approach you. Hey, Ryan, I hope you have a cornucopious day.
Cornucopious. That's an abundant, amazing day.
I want to talk about that word abundant. Okay. So, you know me, the first thing I love to do is look at the word itself and what it means. And the word abundant comes from ab, meaning to rise, and bound, meaning to leap or wave. It's an overflowing of something. So it's something that rises up and overflows. And so that's an abundance. And when you have enough, it doesn't quite overflow. It's enough. It goes right to the top of the cup, sits right on the edge, but doesn't come out, right? So that's enough. Abundant is pouring out, right? So I want you to look at that little almond seed.
Oh, that's pretty.
It is. In its own way, it's wrinkly, kind of like my skin.
There we go. That actually showed up pretty good, actually.
Can you see the difference?
Oh,
there?
Yeah.
I look like an almond. Oh my gosh. It is eerily similar.
Almond Nick.
Well, the beauty of this, let me tell a story. Let's say this is Mr. Positive Almond. And he's got all the positive thoughts. I am abundant. That's his voice. I'm abundant. All things flow to me easily. And he sits on the surface and never does never goes to work. I am abundant. I am Mr. Positive Almond. and everything flows to me easily and abundantly in my life. But he never works. He never puts down that first root, and he never steps into the darkness. And I want you to look at the size of this almond. In relation to life, it's tiny. And that's what abundance is. It's the ability to take something tiny and replicate it over and over again until it becomes large enough that it can flow out abundantly with more almonds. But it takes this tiny little seed for that to occur. I think what people think when they think abundance is, oh, the world's full of abundance. It's just going to all flow to me. Somebody else is going to go plant the tree. And yeah, I'm not going to do the voice.
You have to wait and watch.
That would be terrible. So people think, the abundance is already out there. All the apples on the tree are already mine, but they didn't take the time to plant the seed, to grow the tree, to nurture the tree, to allow that fruit to grow, and then to receive of it. But they just have this expectation, this entitlement that all those apples are already mine. Well, what about the dude that planted the apple tree? Right? Doesn't that seem like there's some ownership in that? So you think about a seed. The first thing that seed does is get planted, the idea. And it's tiny. It might take just one tiny idea. And then once it gets planted in the dirt, it starts drawing in nutrients immediately. It puts out a root. It pulls in nutrients, and then it starts to duplicate itself. So it takes that tiny thing, and 1 becomes 2, and 2 becomes 4, and 4 becomes 8, and so on and so forth, until, like you and me, we have over 50 trillion split cells in our body that make us a human.
That's
so
it.
That's it. That's abundance. It's taking the tiny, the seeming nothing, and turning it into something. And turning it into something to such a degree that it overflows, that there's more than enough in that creation that it overflows. Because we think, and this is what I think we think, maybe I'm wrong in what I think we think, but this is what I think we think.
I think we think that you think we know what we think.
Yeah, I think
and I think
know
you're
what
right.
you think. Is that the fruit that's already out there is ours. I get that, but there's that effort that goes into your creation. I was listening to a video this morning about a woman who started a restaurant. She had a really low budget. In fact, they didn't even have flame to cook with when they started, but they had what they had, so they made it work. And so they got creative around what they could work with what they had. So somebody in, let's say, Africa that doesn't have the resources that somebody in America has, they can start with different levels of stuff, seeds, ideas. But they take that idea, whether it's there or here or anywhere in the world, and they duplicate it. And then they duplicate it again, and they grow in mass, and they duplicate it again, and it divides and splits. And it's a law of nature that when you're creating, there's this dividing and duplication, replication. And it's this repetitive process of small steps, dividing, splitting, growing, That it gets to the point that it becomes overflowing. It becomes abundant. So just like a root on a seed, when that seed comes out, what the seed does is it doesn't shoot down a root and say, damn it, I missed all the nutrients. This doesn't work. Gives up. It branches out. It's like, where are all the nutrients? What else can I be doing today? So it branches out in all these directions.
You're going to be impressed. Bifurcation.
Yes, bifurcating. The bifurcating root. I could see it dancing. Bifurcating, dancing.
See, everyone? I listen.
So the positive thinking seed isn't the one that's going to produce. It's the one that's taking the small actions and repeating those over and over. And here's the important thing. If that seed went to the earth and it says, hey, I'm becoming a tree. And the earth says, well, let me give you some nutrients. And the seed says, nah, I'm good enough. I can't receive from you. No, thanks. Let me grow. It wouldn't work very well. In our lives, we tend to grow, and then people come along and want to support and serve, and they say, hey, I have this nutrient for you. And then we say, nah, I'm a tree. I'm going to do this on my own. Thank you. But I don't need your gifts. And we reject that. We're rejecting the process of abundance. How do you become abundant without receiving? The seed knows that it grows up through the ground, and when it hits the sun's going to come along and say, hey, I have all this energy. Do you want some? And if you say, nah, I'm good, I got enough.
It says it just like that. The sun has its own voice too.
Sun is very see, my mind thinks in stories and metaphors this way, but the sun
Hello,
comes along and
hello,
you're like,
little plant.
hello,
You
plant.
want some of my sunshine?
No, thank you. I got enough. Yeah, but we do that. We do that. We want to.
Next show we'll have a puppet. Hello.
But here's
We
the
do that.
beauty is for humans, our rooting is in questioning, not why is this happening to me, but what are all of the possibilities for this to become a creation? That becomes a root that bifurcates out and brings in all the nutrients, all the answers for that question. What are all of the possible ways for me to take this tiny thing that I have, what I have, my resources that I have, and to create something amazing from the seeming nothing?
Mm-hmm.
That question of what's possible for me opens up the door to receive all of those options. But if we're like, nah, I'm good. I'm good. I know where I'm going. I've got one path and I'm going to go on that. And if that doesn't work, it just wasn't meant to be. God didn't want it for me. That's what people say. It wasn't meant to be. I wasn't meant to be a tree. Bullshit.
Oh, Hucky. Manure. Yeah. We talked about that the other day about manure.
Yeah. Well, so I love what you said about this, about the tree is already in the seed. Do you want to expound on that a little bit?
Yeah. We were talking about that on a show on Wake Up with Giants the other day, and that thought hit me that, like, we talked about the apple seed. And the thought hit me that, like, look, the tree is already in the seed. It's
Mm-hmm.
already in there. But I love what you're talking about right now, because we have to, like, there's work that is involved in order for that tree to manifest and to become what it fully can be capable of and produce the most amount and the best apples. There's work to be done in that. It just doesn't magically become the tree, but it has the possibility. It is the tree already, if
it already is the tree. If right?
Yeah. And there is that caveat, if, because as humans, we could do nothing and just coast and glide, live our life out and die, and just be.
Oh man, I'm glad you hit on that, because you think about that. That's what a lot of people do. They find a path. They get really good at following that path. They expand a little bit within that path, and they do it for the rest of their lives, never expanding out or branching out or finding new ways of being. It's not that you have to be an entrepreneur or creator, a book writer, or anything like that. But what else is your body, your life capable of? That seed that you were given, what else is it capable of? What else could you learn? But no, we get our blinders on and we say, no, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. And I'm going to get a retirement plan and I'm going to die. I'm going to basically produce enough money so that I can live out the rest of my life off of that money and end up just passing away without ever creating anything meaningful in my life. I'm just going to get through this. That is a possibility for you. But if you're on a giant's journey, you want to be at your potential, which is already in the seed. You are an embryo. An embryo is all of that potential is already in there. But
oh no,
that can go away if you don't get on the path, right? If you don't branch out. I don't know if you just froze.
Like, I'll eat the seed and then I'm leaving the show.
your face froze right there so perfectly. It was like,
and yours too. You ate the seed, and then we leave it at a cliffhanger. We should have just ended it. That would have been awesome.
So here's what happens when you start growing and you step out onto the path. Spontaneous things happen. They come to you that you didn't expect to support you, to support your dream, to support the growth of that thing. And then that comes to the point where that thing grows to such a degree that it's overflowing. And it's from that abundance that you're able to create more. But the thing is that the seeds for what you want to create are everywhere. Trees don't drop just one seed. Humans don't just put out one seed. Like there's millions, billions of ideas of ways that you could create. But we let that seed sit on the surface and we never do anything with it. It's the action that matters. Yeah. And so until you step into it, even a single root opens the door for another root and another root and another root and another root. And then
into
you break
infinity.
through. That's the beauty of it. There is no end to it. Man, that dried me out.
Almost choked on an almond. Don't eat the seed. Plant it.
I'm gonna die right on live TV
here. We want now. I want an almond.
Yeah, that was actually really delicious. Sorry, almond, you are never going to become a tree. You are nutrients for my body and my creation.
The voiceover died with it.
Let's have a funeral for the almond. So the positive thinking seed isn't the one that creates. It's the working seed that creates.
And I would even submit it's the positive working seed that feels the emotion and then explores all the possibility and allows for those things to come in. To expand. Doesn't mean they have to go down every single pathway. That's
right.
But
but there's a balancing of giving and a balancing of receiving always. The seed has to be willing to give and put energy out there, but it also has to receive. Otherwise, it can't put energy out there. Mm-hmm. So opening up to the abundance is the ability to open up to receiving whatever supports your dream. That could be money, that could be friendship, that could be relationships, that could be resources. But if you reject it and say, nope, I got this, I'm going to do this on my own, you've just shut off abundance. There is no way for your seed to reach its potential. And so that's where we, as a tribe of giants, we're opening up to that. What else could we receive that would help us to expand out even more? Mm-hmm. The Kickstarter is one way. Sponsorships for the show is another way. We receive sponsorships. Some of our events that we do, that receives resources that we can use to build even more. And so if we were to shut that off and say, nah, we're going to do this for free and I don't need anything from you, well, then we can only grow so far. Really, we limit our ability to be abundant. And so it is a balance of receiving and giving. Any other thoughts?
I want you to eat our almond.
Yeah. What else comes up around that for you?
I think that's perfect. I think that's a great explanation and helps paint a picture and a visual. And I'm glad nobody had to give you mouth to mouth on live TV.
Yeah, that would be weird, wouldn't it?
I would hear the almond way down inside. Hey, I'm still alive.
Like, what is it? Austin Powers?
Yeah.
He's burning him under the ground.
Yeah.
I'm still okay.
Okay.
I don't think the almond's okay. It's not going anywhere. But it just nurtured me so that I can go out and create more abundance in my life. So thank you, almond, for your service.
Yeah.
Yep. Just like the Army. All right, guys. Make it a giant day. We'll see you in the next video. Go out there and be abundant. Work hard. You got this.
Love you too.